So, future is unknown. This is what I was going through in Zazen. So, dystopian view, all the problems we may already observe and what can be. Nobody knows the future. But there are a couple things, or the words I remember that encourages me. One is by Matsuita. He has a book called The Way Will Open Up, or something like that. So the future will open up. I don't remember the whole story at all, but I like the title of the book. And I think that's the spirit. No matter what situation we are in, the path will open up. And you can think it in the sense of entropy. If things are left alone, things get deteriorated or disorganized. But the life's force from within still operate. When it runs out, it's time to die, but you do your best with your mission. The way of nature take over. At the end, as well as at the middle of it, or from the beginning. So I would think that's one way to look, that if we can connect to our heart and just be accepting everything it is, all the constraints, difficulties for the society or mini society or me, individual or within myself, there's a way. Also, this is Mr. Ono from Toyota, and I learned a lot about the waste elimination and appreciating the people's potential. And his word is very pragmatic. I think he was perhaps reflecting his journey, and he said something like, by doing the best you can every step of the way, the path opened up. That's how he developed his idea of the Toyota production system. But whatever the subject is, I think that applies. There's another president in Japan. He wrote a book titled Life is Corresponding to Your Imagination, or Image Create Your Life. What's the title? And his name is Suzuki, and he was in the pharmaceutical industry, and I like that idea. So these three ideas, maybe from my background in Japan, that formed kind of a basis. And when I moved to the US with the idea to help people not just be used, because the idea I found from the In Search of Excellence book, GM workers working for 15 years, and he said he's never been asked one single suggestion. That made my move. so that possibly I can help opening up the path. And the idea of the waste elimination with the people involved, that's like a Toyota production system, that was one. And then along with the ownership and self-managing skills that I felt each individual, especially at the shop floor level, ground level, that's the whole idea when I moved from Japan to the US in 1983. Final move, leaving Japan with a dream. And then I end up in writing books and doing the videos and seminars. So the idea of the mini company was developed. And I worked with the companies, first a small one at 150 people. And they could relate to that. And they learn check, act, plan, do. We used to say PDCA, plan, do, check, act, but I emphasized checking is important. That became more obvious because if you just plan without checking and your mind is just jumping ahead to do something, it's not the plan. Authentic plan, it's just a reactive process, not rooted. So CAPD with a calm and quiet mind. And this mini company idea spread out. They even write the annual report. What's the mission? Who are the customers, suppliers? What are the key performance indicators? What are the projects? What they have done? Red and green. And share that. Shared among themselves. And I remember meeting all of them. And then they even mentioned that they could share that report. These are the supervisors that told me when they have family dinner, I think he was saying that he could share how he's running his mini company. So that's opening up the path. And I was thinking about this because if we think too far away and too beyond the pragmatic framework, like this idea of the dystopian view of how the artificial super intelligence may take over. We can worry about it, but the bottom line is, what do we do? So all these ideas that I mentioned came back. So be pragmatic. And then another idea that came with this thinking is Buddha's idea. It's called Eight Noble Path. And it starts with, if I remember, correctly observing and correctly thinking and correctly doing this and doing this, 8 of them. And the point, like the beginning part that I was thinking is, that's so true. We don't want to jump into some conclusion. You have to observe what really is happening and based upon that, with a calm mind, that's part of those 8 noble paths, come up with the idea. So things like that. So have that discipline. In short, CAPD. check, act, plan, do. Or some may use the word Shila Samadhi Panya, corresponding to the Buddha's teaching, which point Shila I translate into the right conduct, Samadhi, calm and quiet mind, Panya, the insight, awakening. So that's a CAPD, check, act, plan, do, like cycle, keep on going forward. So all these points that I shared seem to fit together, and they're all pragmatic. Go one step at a time, CAPD. And then in that process, we may find what confinement we have to overcome, going over the low entropy, or find the opportunity or the needs. If I think of the Indra's net, which is the connection of the mini companies with each other, so to speak, as customers and suppliers, not just within the organization, but across. So it's mini company or mini me, mini society, mini universe has its own CAPD cycle. So each of us may be having a certain responsibility as individual and as a part of the organization relating to customer-supplier relationship. Collectively, we form this, if you call it organization, meshing, networking together and move forward. And that society may interact with other society and they may have a conflict, but if they know they are connected or to be related to survive, there may be a way, just like each mini company customer supply relationship would let us understand everything is connected to each other. So basically, those are the ideas passed through my mind. Maybe mouthful, but the bottom line is going back to each of us. Know the environment externally, know what's going on internally. Mini companies outside or mini me inside, all networking. And there's a driving force of life to go against the law of entropy. So we are a node of that, pieces of the network, the jewels, each of us. So doing our job and connecting to each other, customers, suppliers, and go through CAPD. That's what we can do. Each cell in the body, each organ in the body is doing that, and to keep us alive. So not just in the mind and caught up in there, but connecting to the heart and have this dynamic process of how things are being played out, and know our position, each of us, and be responsible in what we do, find the mission of what we think is appropriate for each of us, and use the brain and listen to your heart and connect with each other. I think if we can have that perspective and confirm every now and then, to know the position each of us at each moment, every day or every week or every month or every year, and keep processing CAPD, have a calm and quiet mind and observe what's going on, opportunities and problems, constraints, all of that. All the living being is going through that. Not just us with the brain, even the tree is doing that, CAPD, nature's way. That's the source, and that's the driving force for us to be. So let's ride the wave of the universe, so to speak, and know who we are, what can be done in relation to others or within, and let's find the path individually and collectively, maybe mini company or mini society, and move forward. I think that's the mission, and the vision I have is may all beings be happy, relating to each other, make the most, all connected to each other, customers, suppliers, and let's find the path. And each time we find the path, the road would open up to take another path, CAPD. Correctly observing what's going on, come up with the idea to implement. It's maybe seen as common sense or basic, but I think it's a discipline of how we can practice this and live, not in the concept, but in reality, experiencing it and finding the energy coming through us to make the best of what we've got. Let's move on, making the most of what we got, connecting to each other, going forward, one step at a time, check, act, plan, do. Thank you.